Okay, before we get started, I just want to make sure everyone sitting on the couch over here and everyone at home is aware that the set we're going to play for you today contains explicit mention of sexual violence and just violence in general. So if that kind of thing upsets you, please take care of yourself. And now we're going to yell at you for 10 minutes, and I hope you enjoy it.
Every year, millions and millions of pictures are made of women with our legs spread, our genitals are tied up, they're pasted. Millions and millions of pictures are made of us in postures of submission and sexual access. And the major motif of pornography as a form of entertainment is that women are raped and violated and humiliated until we discover that we like it. And at that point, we ask for more.
Sometimes I still feel my life's tension. I've learned it's always safer to be a good bitch, wear my big skin for the camera, but I still feel small. Learning to measure weight in fistfuls. They chose to grab her, and I can't say that it looked worse. There was a rhythm to being the chosen one. We're not like the other eggs if we could be on. These days of learning to paint the iron bars pink. I place my teeth and know I'm me from the cage. The bears of stickiness on my tongue that never washes out. They always say I like it and I can't say that I don't.
Some words are bigger than bodies. I never learned how to get them out of my mouth.
There's stickiness on my tongue that never washes out. They always say I like it, but I can't say that I don't. Some words are big, some words are bigger than my eyes.
I never learned how to get them out of my mouth.
So I want to hold men 100% responsible for their actions, but that is within a particular political context. And when we're talking about patriarchy, misogyny, which is the hate of women, and a rape culture that's held up by heteropatriarchy, white supremacy, and capitalism, and environmental violence, that man is responsible for his actions, but he is not responsible for being brought into that context. Our boys are being raised in a rape culture, and then we're individually holding them responsible as if they invented misogyny. They didn't invent misogyny, they're swimming in it. As activists, we believe it is our collective obligation to change the structures of inequity, the structures of social injustice that promote a rape culture. Then, if we don't serve this young man who's willing to talk to us, women and children are going to pay forever for that, and he is going to suffer. All of our suffering is connected, as is all our liberation, right? Our paths to liberation are connected with each other.
Interior, a girl's bedroom, nighttime. A girl lays on her back in the dark, staring at the cut. Sorry, I can do better. Again. Interior, a girl's bedroom, nighttime. A girl lays on her back in the dark, staring at the ceiling. Something has been cut. Sorry. Again. A girl lays on her back in the dark, staring at the ceiling. Something has been weighing on her for a long time. The room is lit by the face of her cell phone. His number is dialed.
She's finally going to cut. Again, a girl lays on her back in the dark, staring at the ceiling. Something has been weighing on her for a really long time. The room is lit by the face of her cell phone. His number is dialed. She's finally going to let him have it. At first, I thought I was only dreaming. You cut. Again. At first, I thought I was only dreaming. You saying you've only ever known violence, but there was a cut. Again. But there was a kindness in what you cut. Again. But there was a kindness in what you did. How each night you cut. Again. How each night you waited for me to leave so you could cut. Again. How each night you waited for me to leave so you could be alone with my body. It was just a dream. Each night I sunk into the cut again. I sunk into the cut again. I sunk into the dark and woke with different limbs, teeth stitched to the back of my lips and fingers sewn in the wrong places, and I still feel the cut again. I still feel the cut again. I still feel the weight of all that skin cut again. I still feel the weight of all that skin cut again. I still feel the weight of all that skin. Well, you wake up every morning, stepping light as ever. Does your wife know that cut again? Does your wife know that cut again? Does your wife know that you sewed your hands on my cut? No! Does your wife know that you sewed your hands on my cut? Everyone after you has tried to cut again. Everyone after you has tried to cut again. Everyone after you has tried to amputate. But all I do is bleed. Cut again. All I do is bleed. Cut again. All I do is bleed. Will you tell your children bedtime stories about me? The sleepwalker crawling with death. Too many hands cut again. Too many hands cut again. Too many hands to count. Too many hands to count. Too many hands to count. I want to cut again. I want to cut again. I want to give it all back to you. I want to give it all back to you. I know what you did was all you knew. I know what you did was all you knew. I know what you did. I know what you did. I know. Interior, a girl's bedroom, nighttime. A girl lays on her back in the dark, staring at the ceiling. Something has been weighing on her for a long time.
Yes, that was really intense. Got a couple questions for you, and the first one's about the style of music you play. Hardcore punk as a style has some elements that really define it as a subgenre. What does Piss do to break the rules?
That's a good question. I think that first, we don't always think that much about genre when we're writing. I think that the music is very intense and angry and aggressive because the content merits that kind of sound, less because we're trying to be a certain genre, if that makes sense. In terms of what sets us apart lyrically, that's the only thing that I can really speak to, is that I don't really even consider myself a musician. I consider myself a poet first and foremostly. And when we were writing this album, the majority of my influences were not actually musical influences. They're writers and even the way that books of poetry are structured, or books of short fiction are structured. When I was sketching out the songs that I wanted, and the map of what I wanted was very narrative. But maybe Ty can speak more about the actual sonic side.
Yeah, I don't think, at least musically, approaching the songwriting process, we're kind of going into songs being oh, we want to write an entire song in this genre. I think it's always been pulling all the stuff we love from any genre, anything that we listen to, and trying to implement that in a way that makes sense for the songs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Tay, who would you say are some of the writers and poets that have informed your approach to your lyrics?
For this album in specific, I just draw a lot of inspiration from poets like Frank O'Hara. I love Frank O'Hara, and Diane Seuss. Diane Seuss was actually I was reading her book Four-Legged Girl when I started writing this. I really love Ada Limon and Mary Oliver. But more so, I guess I mean, rather than specific poets, and a lot of writers that we use samples in, Andrea Dworkin, is the way that you go about writing a book of poetry. With any type of writing, you try to pull from as many different inspirations and influences as you can, and then you try to copy them. But if you do that with enough people, you end up establishing a voice that's really your own. I feel that's probably more similar to what I do, because when I'm writing, I'm not I'm trying to write in the style of this. I've just done so much reading and so much reflecting on my own story. The poems that are on this album are this tiny fraction of what I actually have written about this subject. I've been writing about this since, I was a child.
You name dropped some writers that I haven't read before,
Okay.
so.
Yeah, I haven't read any.
You're I'm illiterate.
I only actually do audiobooks. I haven't read anything.
What would you say is the mission statement or artistic vision for this group?
Yeah, that's a great question. I can speak for myself that I started working on this album before Piss was formed. And for me, it's really about creating something that's as true as possible of an account of something. Like the music comes across as really political. I think the samples do a lot to contribute to that, but it's actually not intended to be this manifesto. It's if it makes you feel some sort of political way, that's on you, I'm just trying to create as accurate a portrait of my experience as possible, and then let people create their own opinions from that. I just think that's what all my favorite artists do, and that's what's allowed me to create my own opinions of things. So yeah, I guess when I'm writing songs, I want to create things that are as authentic to what I've experienced as possible, so that other people might see them and see themselves in it, or parts of themselves in it. And in doing that, I just hope that I'm able to turn a bunch of shit that's happened to me into something that's useful and generative. And yeah, but I think that you might have a very different answer, dear.
Yeah, no, I think just sonically, all that the band is trying to do is just carry Tay's voice and create some sort of foundation that makes sense with the narrative thread through all of the music.
Yeah, and they do a really good job of that. It's, for me, the creative collaboration has been like one of the most fulfilling things I've ever experienced, because I have these 3 people who are incredibly talented, who hold it the fuck down, and I can be like a complete maniac on stage, and they just have me. Like, it's really beautiful. I love you guys.
I love you too.
Do you know Betty from Daddy Issues?
No.
Okay. She like wears like fake vaginas and like smokes fake crack on.
Is it
smokes crack on stage? She knows. She's amazing. Betty's like, I think and she's been doing it for forever. Her shit's like super insane.
Let's be friends.
Check them out. I think that you would dig her stuff.
Cool.
I was going to say the earnestness definitely comes through very strongly. How would you describe your approach to the live show? I mean, some things that I picked up and noticed on was, the use of the sampler and also really the general physicality of it kind of reminds me of performance art, for example.
Yeah, you're not the first person to say that. It's interesting. I never thought, like, when we did our first show, I never thought about it as performance art, but I have come to appreciate that element of it and like lean into it a little bit, or like be more thoughtful about it, because I try to be extremely thoughtful about everything we do live. Because first of all, I feel like live music, you can do so many different things, not necessarily more, but so many different things with live music than you can do with recorded music. So it's always been this like separate entity for us. Like, we create the samples that we have on our album are crafted differently than the samples that we use live. And the way that we do our live set, we always play the same set until we like write an entire new like sample scape or whatever. But really the live shows for me are more about like connecting with people immediately. And that's why I do the trigger warning at the beginning and like the exit strategy, because I don't want the very people that I'm trying to connect with to be alienated from the subject matter. And it's really important for me with Piss to make sure that everything that we're doing, like we've thought about it a lot, and it's like delivered with an extreme amount of care, because it's not just like a collection of songs. It's like a whole story and it's like, my story. So I want people to receive it, but I have with the live shows, I have like a very specific way that I want that to be done. So it is sometimes hard because you can't control what happens, and I have to have like this perfect degree of control. So if like someone hops on stage or like falls on stage and like accidentally hits me, it like really throws me off or like fucks me up, because it's like, this is my perfectly crafted victim narrative. But it makes it all fine when people come up to me after and say that it mattered to them. For me, that's like the most important part of the work.
To date, the band has released 3 songs for a total of 5 minutes and 14 seconds of music. And you've referenced it a couple times, but I understand you have an album in the works. Who are you working with, and what excites you the most about this record?
I mean, we spent, was it like 5 or 6 days just this past winter recording with Colin Stewart at the Hive in Victoria.
Colin.
And yeah, we miss you.
We love Colin.
Oh. Yeah, we love Colin. It was just genuinely an incredible experience getting to work with Colin. And he was so accommodating and just very open, and just wanted to have us there to have a good time. And it was consistently fulfilling.
Yeah, like I've never done anything like that before, like never gone in like a professional studio setting. And I was so nervous, especially because of like the content of the music. It was like, I don't know like how I'm going to feel or whatever, like repeating the same things over and over again all day. But just like waking up in his beautiful studio, making coffee, Gary making me coffee, going for a walk, and then working on music for 12 hours with like my favorite people. It was just the best thing ever. And Colin was so accommodating. Like I would have all these crazy requests, like this one I want to do with headphones, this one I want to do with a PA system, this one I want no one else in the room, like this one I want to be in the room with everybody. And we did the vocals live for as many of the tracks as we could. So, and Colin was just like, yep, no questions asked. Like he made everything perfect. It was like the best experience of my life. It was so awesome working with him.
So, just got one more question for the band, and this is a question for everybody. Who is your favorite Vancouver band or artist?
Two of my favorite bands in Vancouver right now. There's one band, both are bands that I found from seeing live. One is called Stale. It's a 3-piece, and they kind of give me Deftones vibes. I don't know how else to describe it. And another is Computer. We just played a show with them.
Oh, nice.
And Computer is very, very sick. Yeah.
I will echo the Computer mention. And then Laloon, who we've played with quite a few times. They're probably my favorite shoegaze band as well that we have in the city. It's a band called Filigree Silver Tree.
Silver God.
Silver God, yeah.
Shout out Filigree Silver
And
God.
that was one of the like craziest live sets
They
I've
did,
seen
yeah.
from a local band too. And then Dawson Ghoul. Dawson Ghoul is awesome. Children of Dawson Ghoul. Yeah.
Faye Vancouver band. Gotta say Natlac.
Yeah,
Love
sure.
that band. They are amazing. Such an incredible sound. Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead. We were fortunate enough to open up for them for their album release, and their new album is so fucking good. And then Sam Lynch.
I love Sam Lynch.
So good. New album is incredible. I'm obsessed with it. And then I'm also going to shout out a Victoria band because we all love them, Hillsborough.
Okay. I'm not going to repeat any of the ones that you guys have said, but there were a lot of my favorites in that list. I'm going to say Cherry Pick. I'm going to say Emma Goldman. Oh, Spank Williams. Oh, yeah. I'm going to say also Chlorine Time Machine. Tall Mary's another amazing band.
Yeah, Tall Mary.
Yes. And since you said artist, I'm going to take that term literally, even though I know you didn't mean painters, but I'm going to shout out Noveline D'Agostini. She's a Vancouver painter and she's sick. So we're saying her as well.
All right.
Yeah. Was
Well,
that everyone?
Haven't said this yet, but thank you, Piss. That was
Thank you.
extremely, well, I'd say one of the most unique performances we've had
No
on the
shit.
show so far. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
And cut.